Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Shai Bashem Bakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To the confusion of faith, brothers joined unto our ranks, the hopefully elect, the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. And today's video is going to be to a response on a video on my channel. On this video, no longer a mystery, New Testament Gentiles are Israelites. And the comment is by this guy here. Roby R. It says, terrible teaching, and Romans didn't explain nothing correctly. Romans 11 and 5, who is them and who is the world? So I went and read that chapter, and to the shame of this guy, he just cut himself. But we're gonna start this with subject matter and pronoun. Okay, so let's look up those definitions before we start. This is subject matter. This is out of the Winston Simplified Dictionary, Encyclopedic Edition, 1933. And if you would go with me, I'm going to put it in front of the camera and try and read it through the lens and let it focus. To number 3. Okay, let's see if I can get it to focus. To right, it says, the object of discussion or any mental, hold on, it moved. The object of discussion or any mental operation that concerning which a statement is made or an action taken, theme, topic, often called the subject matter. A word or word group in a sentence denoting concerning which an affirmation is made, distinguishing from the predicate. All right, so that's enough. All right, now let's go to pronoun. All right. Okay. Pronoun. Let me see. Pronoun. A word as he, she, you, it, mine, hers, that, who, used instead of the noun to designate a person or thing already mentioned, implied, or asked about. Okay? So it's not going to say Israel or Israelite foreigners or Hellenists, which they actually could have put those words to make it very, very plain. But Esau being the devil, and also as it is written, it was a mystery. That's why people didn't understand. All right, so it's funny how you could read the novel of Game of Thrones and it'll say a character's name as the subject matter, and then it'll say he, she, it, or what, and you know exactly what it's talking about. But then when the Bible does the very same thing, all of a sudden you forget basic grammar about subject matter and pronoun. All right, you want to make it when it's talking about Israel, the whole, all the nations, you know. So let's go to Romans the 11th chapter and begin to read. I'm going to read down to the 15th verse. All right. Okay. This is Romans 11 and 1, and it says, I say then, have God cast away his people? Who's the Lord's people? Ask yourself that. The Lord's people is the Israelite. And the verse answers it itself. All right. It says, God forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So Paul was a Benjaminite. All right. People mistakenly say he was a Roman. He was a Roman citizen, but he was an Israelite by heritage, by blood, of the tribe of Benjamin. So he was not a Jew. All right. The Jews came from Judah. So that's a first Christian mistake and imposter Jewish mistake. All right. It's not the 12 tribes of Jewish. It's the 12 tribes of Israel. And you cannot refer to a Benjamite or a Zebulonite or a Gadite as a Jew. However, you may refer to them as an Israelite. Let's get a quick precepts. This is Psalms 94 and verse 14 and 15. For Yahweh will not cast off his people, who, according to the subject matter and pronoun, are the Israelites. For Yahweh will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance. All right? But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. And who's the upright in heart? His elect. Lamentation 5 and 2 says, our heritage is turned to strangers. That was punishment. And now we're in the time and age where the Lord is bringing the Israelites back into their heritage. Right? To the dismay and the anger of the heathens, especially Esau, Edom. Especially the Edomite Christian and the Edomite imposter Jewish. You know, when I think about it, there's some Israelites who are just as mad too, because they're angry that because they don't want to be special. They don't want to be royal. They don't want to not bow down to Edomite or white Jesus as they self-proclaim themselves. Let's get one more precept. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 2. So let's go to it. Second Corinthians 11 and 2. And it reads, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, and for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Hamashiach. All right. So that a spouse is the elect. It's Israel. Okay. Point blank period. It's got nothing to do with the other nations, the other people. 11 and 22. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. So when you get to Galatians 3, 28 and 29, they're of the seed of Abraham, which is of the chosen. Abraham had 8 sons, and only one was the chosen one. So it doesn't matter if you're a seed of the other 7. It's talking about the seed of Abraham, not Edom or Ishmael. All right? Edom and Ishmael have nothing coming, nor the other heathens. All right? It's all about the seed of Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That particular seed line. Not Abraham and Ishmael and their sons, or Abraham and Edom and his sons, or any of his sons that came from Keturah, the Hamite, the so-called African. Those sons, Edom got his blessing already. He's living it now. And Ishmael had his blessing. He became a great nation, became very wealthy. Right? So he had his blessing as well. And both those seeds had their brother, us, in slavery. Some still into this day, because Esau has a total grip. He basically has all of America in slavery under the greenback and the 501c3 charters. And Ishmael still has Jakes in slavery to this day, as servants in some of their households in some of the places where they dwell. Just saw the video of the Jake tied to the chair being beaten unmercifully by the Ishmaelite, by that so-called Arab. But you stupid Israelites want to follow Islam. Okay, let's go back to the subject matter, the pronoun. The Hebrews, the Israelites of Romans, the 11th chapter. Verse 3. Yahweh, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thy altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. And they still do that now. Paul was comparing themselves to Elijah and the other prophets back in the day. because all through time, all the disciples were killed, all except John. Okay. Verse 4. But what saith the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. And the same thing happened in 1 Kings, the 19th chapter. And matter of fact, let's just go read it real quick. This is 1 Kings 19, 9 and 10. And he came hither unto the cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of Yahweh came to him, and he said unto him, what doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahweh, power of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thy altars, slain thy prophets with the sword, and I, even I, only am left, and they seek my life to take it. So he thought he was alone. That's matching up what we just read in Romans. That's what Paul was quoting, because the same thing was happening. All right. And he says the same thing in verse 14. Let's jump down to 18. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which have not kissed him. That would be us today, professing this truth, saying that it's only for Israel, not bowing down to Cesare Borgia and all the and bullshit lies of Christianity, which are Roby R brings, because Christianity marries you to Baal, which in this instance is this right here. Because when you read Jesus Christ, which is not the name, that's what comes to mind. Cesare Borgia. Okay? That's who that is. Cesare Borgia. All right? He became the new image of Christ. Okay? Of the Hamashiach, to say it correctly. Verse 5, from back in Romans 11 and 5. Even so then, at this present time also is there a remnant according to election, the elect of Israel. That's what this is all about. The subject matter is Israel and the elect, right? And not just Israel, but the elect of Israel. All right? And if it be by grace, then no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be by works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. What then? Israel have not obtained that which it seeketh, but the election have obtained it. And the rest were blinded. The Lord is not here for all of Israel. He's coming back for the elect. The rest of Israel haven't obtained it, and they're the chosen. Only the elect were going to get it, and the rest are blinded. That's why our own people come against us, because they are not of the elect. And they seek to kill us and take our lives. You see it on the line all the time, no matter what city or where you are. Okay? They've attacked and threatened us, even shot at us here in Chicago. All right? We've had people put to death right in front of us at camp over hostilities between Israel, man. Of course, we had nothing to do with those matters, but it happened. Like when Paul spoke, riots broke out. Okay? Verse 8, according to as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, ears that they should not hear unto this day. And they don't hear, man. They hear and they wave their hand or fan their hand and they walk off. What goes in one ear, out the other, man. Well, they're not concerned with their salvation. You know? Because the Lord, that goes to show you that the Lord, if he's going to let his beloved, if he's going to let Israel die, what the hell you think he's going to do to the heathen, man? This is Isaiah 29 and verse 10. I'm going to read 10 through 13. For Yahweh hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, he have covered. Because they don't see. He didn't want them to know. And this is why they follow Christianity, which did nothing but rape, murder, rob, and oppress them. All right? Both physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially. Verse 11. The vision of all is all become unto you as words of a book that is sealed, which men delivered to one that is learned, saying, read this, and I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. And so these pastors have not the understanding, and most of them today are watching us because they're speaking and saying things in churches they never said. And I was in those churches all my life, and now you listen to some of these preachers and teachers, they're watching our videos and trying to talk like us. And they're speaking like us in the churches. And now the church people are wooed because they're hearing these new breakdowns and revelations, but they're still not getting it the way it's supposed to be. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, and I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Wherefore Yahweh saith, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart, which means their mind, far from me, their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men, and they don't fear the Most High. That's why you'll get all these women go out and stand up in the name of Jehovah wickedness. All these women that would take their sons and their daughters to these whorehouses called churches. Or talk stuff about the men of the Lord when they're on the highways and byways. And the Lord is giving you that mind and that reprobate spirit because he does not want you. He actually wants you to die and suffer and be slain. Facts. Back to Romans. Verse 9. And David said, let their table be made a snare. Now this is King David, a man after the Lord's own heart. And who was he talking about? He was talking about Israelites. The wicked ones. Let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. And there are many things in the Bible that are recompense unto Christians. Especially Israelite Christians. All right, that we had laws about rape and how it's to be handled in the Bible. And not that we do those things, but teach that it is in the Bible. And they get angry about it. All right, because what happens? Rape happens in every society known to man. All right, and the Bible has laws on how to deal with it when it happened within Israel. Simple as that. That's what we were teaching. All right. The Bible, by law, says you're supposed to put a homosexual, a lesbian, or a witch to death. In America, they're celebrated and given TV shows. So we don't do that law, but we do teach you that it's there and that the Lord ordained it to be so. You can't follow the laws and statutes in this. We're in captivity under Esau, Edom, and he follows not the Bible. That's why he puts out propaganda about your beard is dirty like an animal or some madness. Then that would mean that your hair on your body is your head too. That's just propaganda lie, and I'm willing to bet that investors in Schick and Gillette, those shaving companies, have something to do with that. Because so many men are wearing their beards, man. And that's the spirit moving through the earth because that's the time that we live in. All right? They don't want to see you wearing beards. Not if you got stocks in a razor blade company, in a shaving cream company. Let's go to Psalm 69 real quick. It's a precept to verse 9 that we just read. This is Psalm 69. I'm going to read verse 22 and 23. And it reads, let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. So the covenant, the mercy of Yahweh Shah was supposed to be their welfare. Now it's becoming a trap to them. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually shake. So You know, our mighty king, who's still our king, King David, the Wat, Malak the Wat, is praying death and destruction on you wicked Israelites, man. And so do I. So do I. Daily. All right. Verse 10, back in Romans 11 and 10. This is exactly what David, right, I'm going to read 9 and 10 again. Romans 11 and 9 and 10. It says, and David saith, let their table be made a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. And that was in Psalm 69 when he said it. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. They're going to be broken always. Always laying down for Esau, Edom. Verse 11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid. But rather through their salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke salvation is come unto the Gentiles for to provoke jealousy. All right, so they'll say that that's talking about all the other nations. No, that word there is G1484, ethnos. All right, and then they'll give you the right definition, but then they'll give you some lies too, because that's what Esau does. But you have to remember subject matter, pronoun. All right, ethnos, a race as of the same habit. All right, so they'll try to generalize. First they'll tell you the truth, then they'll try to generalize it, because what? Americans as a people sometimes have the same habits. But then the different races in America also have the same habits. So it's talking about a race of people. It's talking about the Israelite foreigners, all right, who are no longer keeping their heritage. And the Jews was made up, was talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, were angry and jealous of the Israelite foreigners who were coming back into the welfare. And Paul was made the apostle to them, not to the heathen Gentiles. Two different sets of Gentiles. All right. And I'm going to prove that with Acts. This is Acts 22 and 28. Let's go to the book of Acts real quick. I'm sorry, 28 and 28. I said 22. Acts 28 and 28. Be it known therefore unto you that salvation of power is sent unto the Gentiles, and that they will hear it. 29. And when he said these words, the Jews departed and had great reasoning among them. Dispute. All right. Remember that Gentiles is ethnos again. All right. And Paul dwelt 2 whole years in his own hired house. And remember what happened when Paul wanted to speak to the people in the book of Acts. To all those Gentiles. He spoke to them in Hebrew and they listened. All right. The Jews and the Gentiles both listened. All right. Paul dwelt 2 whole years in his own hired house and received all that came unto him, preaching the kingdom of power and teaching those things which concern the Lord, Yahushua Hamashiach, with all confidence and man forbidding. So why would he be teaching a savior unto the Jews to the other nations when they have nothing to do with the covenant? Nothing to do with it all. We're talking about subject matter and pronoun. All right. It's talking about them who are under the curse, them who are under the covenant. All right. Verse 12, back in Romans 11 and 12. Now, if these fall of them the riches of the world, which is cosmos, all right, which talks about an orderly arrangement. Remember subject matter, and then it'll go on to say all people and all that. No, that would be the word oikoumene, the Greek word oikoumene. So you got to remember, when you go into the blue letter, Esau has added and changed and lied about certain things. You got to know how to get the meat off the bones, man. We're talking about subject matter here. The subject matter was, go back to verse 1, the Israelites of the seed of Abraham, and who were being called Gentiles. Okay? verse 12. Romans 11 and 12. Now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you, Gentiles, insomuch, and remember that's ethnos again, I am an apostle to the Gentiles. I magnify my office, and if by means I may provoke the emulation that which are my flesh. Hold on. Go back to, that's what connects it back to verse 1. All right? If by any means I proclaim the emulation to them which are my flesh. Cold cut. This is a cut. If you try to connect this to the heathens or any other people, man, it's done. It's done. I can finish right here, man.